Yeah.
Let's talk to the MCE for Ayawaso West Wogon, Dr. Michael Mensah. Good morning, Doc. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good morning to you and our cherished listeners.
Is the East Legon flyover in your municipality?
Yes, it is.
Did you see a person trying to put up a structure under the overhead?
Well, so let me explain what actually happened there. So there was an application by someone to convert that space into a car park. And so what the assembly did was actually to contact Urban Road. And so we did that, and Urban Road indicated that they have plans for the place. And not just that place, but for other areas where they have such open spaces. So subsequently, we invited them to the assembly. So we had a team from Urban Road that visited the assembly and made a presentation on what plans they have for that space. So according to them, they want to have that place for a car park. They want to have a fire service there. They want to have a washing bay and a police post. And the essence of that is to serve the community so that when people come around, they can park their cars and then go about their businesses. So based on that presentation, the applicant was also in that presentation. So later we gave approval for the place to be used as a car park to serve the community. But then the first condition, as far as approval is concerned, is to liaise with Urban Roads to agree on the final design. And that is where I think the applicant did not comply, because my attention was drawn to the fact that built a structure, a platform was being created last Sunday with the regional minister. And indeed, I noticed that a platform was being created. And then I met the applicant, and he told me that she was creating a platform to mount a glass office on it. A glass office she actually imported from outside so that they can operate from that office. And then the rest of the space will be used as a car park. So that is actually what happened. The person was not building under the footbridge. You cannot build under a footbridge. You can only have a temporary structure. And then when you look at the permit given, it's actually a temporal permit. And with a temporary permit, you can't have a permanent structure and at a place like that.
But they were laying blocks under
actually.
They were laying
as
blocks.
I indicated, they were creating a platform. You realize that the place is very flat. So if you put the glass on the platform, on the ground, and it rains, the water will get into the structure. So the idea is to create two courses. When you look at it critically, they created a platform, 2 blocks. They laid 2 blocks to put the glass office on it so that when it rains, the place gets flooded. It will not get into the...
Yeah, but has an assessment been done as to what that glass office on that platform would mean for flooding in the whole area?
Yes, so that is where I said that the permit indicated that the person is supposed to liaise with Urban Road to agree on the final design. But then that is where I think the law was flouted. She didn't work with Urban Road when she was doing the implementation. So because of that, we had to push down everything.
Would they have needed a specific permit to put up that quote-unquote temporary structure? Would they have needed a permit from your end? Or once they are talking to Urban Roads, you're expecting Urban Roads to be the ones doing the permitting for any structure built in that area?
No. the permitting is supposed to be done by the assembly, but the plan, the design, is actually from the urban road because they actually constructed that space and they have a plan for the place. So what we did was actually we only gave permit, but the design, the final design, and then approval is supposed to come from urban road to ensure that whatever is being put there is in conformity with the plans urban roads have.
So when you check with urban roads, what have they said to you about the temporary glass structure? Was it something they approve of as part of building the car park?
Yes, so as I have indicated that the person developing the place is supposed to liaise with urban roads on the final design. And I think that is where the problem is. The person didn't liaise with urban roads for the final design. And that is where
fair enough. So when the regional minister came to order the demolition, I'm sure you were called.
I was there.
And you would obviously say you did not permit them to put up the glass office because the design didn't come to you.
Come again.
I am saying that when the minister was asking for the demolition of the structure in your presence, you could not defend the building because you hadn't permitted that type of structure there.
Yes, so as I indicated over the Nova, the final thing was supposed to be done between the person designing, the person constructing or developing that space and urban road. But there was no
problem
communication.
Yeah, but I understand that. I agree. I was based no problem. My other concern is even if it's urban roads, this is in your constituency. It's a new flyover. Has a traffic assessment been done for the so-called car park, washing bay, police post, stroke, fire service?
Fire service.
I mean, there's a police station like 100 meters away already. There are many washing bays on the boundary road. So are you sure that this idea of a car park, stroke washing bay, stroke police post, is it really justified in such a small congested space?
Okay, so the police post, because we have a police post close to the area, that is not justified. So the woman, according to the contractor, she was not going to add police post. But it was mainly a car park. She wanted to use it just for a car park because, as I told you, the original design was to factor in all those things. But then as we have the police post close to the facility, then there was no need. But then the area actually needs a car park. Normally, when there are programs within the area, it is difficult to get a place to park your car. So that place would have been good.
But Dr. Mensah, a couple of things. The boundary road area has been overly developed. All right. Of course, this is not necessarily what you did, but we know that was supposed to be a buffer for the motorway. We've built shops all over up to the top. Number two, we've permitted people to put up event centers in a place without making provision for proper parking. Now we want to use the bottom of the overpass as a car park after developing from Shiashi all through to Abedipele's pool. Honestly, you can't tell me that place under the overpass is good. If you make it even a car park, do you know how much traffic it will cause in that enclave?
Yes, so as I indicated, when you go to the entire area, if there's an event in that area, you would understand the situation. There's no place to park. Absolutely no place.
Yeah, but whose fault is it? Because the people who put up, what I'm saying is that you not you as Mr. Mensah, the assembly has permitted people to put up pharmacies, bookshops, washing bays, and all kinds of things there without making provisions for proper parking. Now the space under the flyover is where the car park will be. Is that how it's done in other places?
Yes, so the idea is to help create parking lot. Because when you go to the area and there's an event, the whole place gets choked. You not get people parked along the road because there's no space for a car park. So that space would have actually been conducive to hold vehicles that would have otherwise parked by the road. So that's the point I'm making.
But do you agree that that area has been overdeveloped?
Yes, it has been overdeveloped. And the major challenge is when there's an event and you need to park. You can't get a place to park. The entire place is choked. And it also adds to the traffic situation in the area. But then at least that place could have contained some of the cars that would have otherwise parked on the road.
Well, look, I'm not a designer, but I'm very skeptical as to how that space becomes the solution to years of overdevelopment in a very congested area. Be that as it may, I am told that urban roads is supposed to have an officer who works in every district. So Ayawaso West must have had an urban roads officer. Did he feature in this conversation at all?
The urban roads officer?
In your assembly?
Yes, so what I indicated is that we had a presentation. So there's a minute to that. We had a presentation. We invited urban roads to give us a presentation on what plans they have for the space. So we didn't just get up and then decide that the place should be used for a car park. So we invited them, and they made a presentation. And based on that presentation, the permit was given. But then when you look at the permit in circulation, the first condition is that you must work with urban roads to agree on the plan, the final design. So that was the major or the main condition. And as I indicated, there should have been an agreement before the structure we saw there was put there.
Again, I'm not an engineer, but this is a flyover that has presumably vehicles of different weights driving on top of it. Is it a prudent thing to build a glass house under an overpass?
It's something movable. It's a movable office, not a house. It's an office space. It's just a place where they can operate from, and it's something movable.
Well, if you can guarantee that they will move it, because the reason I'm skeptical is, in this country, most slums and urban messes begin as temporary things. Somebody comes one, somebody comes two. Before you know, they are sleeping there and they are pounding for food there. So the idea that it's temporary. Look, I mean, the pictures we saw from the regional minister's own video, I mean, they are laying blocks. So you have told me that, well, it's just a platform. I understand this. But I'm saying that for every person who sees a building under that facility, maybe the presentation that they gave that led to that. We should all see it. Because I've sitting here, we struggle to see the justification for any development in that congested space. But anyway, you are the expert. You are the man who's in charge. Just give us an assurance that in a year's time, after the development is done, it will not create another problem for which we'll be interviewing you again as to how to solve.
Yes, I can assure you that we will not create problems. We are here to serve the public, and whatever we have to do to ease the way or to ease business and our movement, we will do that. We will not create problems for the public. Maybe subsequently, I'll share with you the 3D videos on how the place is supposed to be or the place is supposed to look. I'll share that with you. I'll share the presentation with you. But I want to assure the public that we are supposed to serve the public. We are supposed to protect the public, and we will not create problems for the public.
We believe so, and also let the residents and users of the area know the plan, so they can also tell you whether they like it or not. Because in certain jurisdictions, these things are discussed with residents.
Absolutely.
It's not just a presentation involving the assembly and interested companies. It must also involve the users of the space. There must be environmental impact assessment, traffic assessment. If you are convinced that all of that has been done, then I wish you good luck.
Yeah, thank you. So my final bite. So yesterday I had a conversation with the person developing the place, and I told the person that it is prudent to have community and stakeholder engagement. It is important to bring the community or the stakeholders involved to actually explain to them what you want to do so that you can judge and then improve on whatever development the developer has. So definitely stakeholder engagement is very important, very prudent.
Well,
and at the moment, the permit has been revoked.
Well, I would encourage you to lead that engagement. The developer is possibly constrained by finance and is looking for their profit. You owe it to the public as the assembly to engage us. So maybe you hire a hall there and let us come and have a discussion about it. And also today, Chronicle page 4 has a nice editorial. So I want to urge you to also take the editorial and add it to the deliberations, because they've written a full editorial and the title is Construction Under Flyover. This is scandalous. This is the Chronicle. So it's not just Bernard Avler sitting on air. Chronicle has an editorial for you as well on this. But I thank you for your intervention. It's helped the discussion. Thank you, Dr. Mensah.